Okay, we got it going. Okay, welcome my friends. I am excited for our weekly essential oil apothecary class, and I love going through each one of doTERRA's products in alphabetical order from A to Z. So in this series, we're working through the essential oils and the blends first. And today we are talking about black pepper. So black pepper is one that we use every day as a spice, but we don't really hear about the essential oil very much, right? So I love the smell of this. It smells like when you are freshly grinding black pepper. So it's got that, it almost has like a smoky smell to it. It's got like a sharp, peppery smell. And its Latin name is Piper nigrum, or nigrum, sorry, nigrum, Piper nigrum. So this comes from the black pepper seeds when they're black. So we also have pink pepper, which we'll talk later in the series. And just so you know the difference, pink pepper is distilled when the seeds are more fresh. So right after they turn green, they turn pink, and then they turn a darker color. So there's different stages that the pepper is distilled at, which is really cool because it has different qualities. So black pepper most commonly is known for a spice, and obviously we can spice black pepper in our food at any time. And when we're talking about using an essential oil in our food rather than the spice, less is going to go much further. So what I like to do when I use essential oils when I'm cooking is use a wooden toothpick, and I will just stick the toothpick right in the center there. So you can see the orifice reducer, that how it's wet from the essential oil. It's not really wet, but you know, it's got that liquidy, so you can just dab it around there. And then I like to just swab it into my food and stir it around. That way, if you need to add more, you can. But if you mean to put a drop, that could even be too much, you know, especially depending on how big your meal that you're cooking is. So that's just a word of a caution and a word from past experience, because one time when I was making red sauce, tomato sauce, I was thinking that it would be a great idea because I didn't have fresh oregano, you know, so I used a drop of oregano oil and 2 drops came out, and I ended up ruining my sauce. So, and black pepper is a very strong, spicy, hot oil as well. It's considered a hot oil, just like oregano oil. So the main properties that we can use black pepper oil for, I wish I had a little stand over here so I could just present it all the time. It's analgesic. And what does that mean? That means that we can use it as for pain, to support our body, our muscles, our joints when we are experiencing some pain. It's also antimicrobial. And so that means that it gets rid of unwanted microbes. And it's antiviral, getting rid of viruses that we don't want. And it stimulates the immune system. It's an immunostimulant. And it's also, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, I should have looked up the pronunciation beforehand, but it's also anti-catarrhal. I think that's how you pronounce it. So is that how you pronounce it? Okay, my friend Gail is giving me the thumbs up and a smile with a head nod. So good. So that means that we can use it. What does that mean? That means we can use it to support our respiratory system. It helps to remove mucus in the body, and it can also work as a decongestant when we have congestion. So the other uses are that it's antioxidant, We can use it when we are feeling any feelings of anxiety, for cellular oxygenation, to support our digestive system when we have gas or when we are feeling like we have diarrhea, for emotional repression, which is one of the things I really want to talk about, because as I was doing some reading, I just got to thinking about how much we suppress our emotions and what that does to us. So it's really good to be able to speak our truth, which is so hard to do sometimes. And also it's good, this black pepper also is great to reduce inflammation in the body, and also as a laxative, which is quite interesting. So when we, let's talk about the emotional body first, like I was talking about. So black pepper helps us to remove the masks, remove the facades that we put on in everyday life for work, for the different relationships that we have with people. Sometimes it's hard to face ourselves, so we'll mask our own emotions from ourselves and we'll stuff things down. And we hide aspects of ourselves that we've been taught as a little kid that were bad or negative, right? We shouldn't be feeling that way. You're too this, you're too that, or, you know, and then when we learn this as a child and we repress it, that's usually how we're going to deal with things as we grow older and move through life and as an adult, and how we relate to people. So since childhood, most of us have been taught that some feelings and behaviors are inappropriate while others are better. Instead of seeking to understand these negative emotions, we stuff them down, and then they tend to perpetuate because we're afraid to talk about them, because maybe we're being judged for them, maybe we're being condemned for them, or, you know, maybe we know that other people aren't feeling like we are, or that they can't understand us, so we're afraid to express ourselves fully. And when we do that, that's really damaging to our subtle and emotional body. And if we keep doing that, it's going to express that out in our physical body. So we can use black pepper therapeutically to repattern the brain and help us really get in touch with our emotions by simply opening up the bottle and smelling it. And a lot of times we have to smell it at least for a couple minutes, you know, so this is where a diffuser can come in handy. And as we're diffusing black pepper in the room, it's also working on, as we were talking about before, essential oils work on a multi-dimensional level. So if we're diffusing black pepper to help us move through repressed or blocked emotions, we're also killing viruses and unwanted microbes in the air. So that's pretty cool. We're also stimulating our immune system. And these are things that we really want to do right now, especially when we're dealing with a pandemic. So what happens when we don't recognize these repressed emotions? I don't know if you've ever heard a Native American proverb that talks about the white wolf and the black wolf, and which wolf do you want to feed? And, you know, from time immemorial, we've been taught that light equals good and black equals dark, right? Or black or darkness equals bad. But however, when we're looking at this from a yogic perspective, it's like looking at two sides of a coin, right? There's heads and there's tails, and you can't have one side without the other. You can't have the darkness without the light, right? We wouldn't be able to see any shadows or experience darkness if it was only light, and we wouldn't be able to experience the light if there were only darkness. us. So we need both, and this is where duality comes in, right? That aspect of duality. And then from duality comes a sense of separation. And so with the yoga practice, it's like finding all the puzzle pieces that fit us back together so that we can experience our wholeness again. And there's dark and light aspects within all of us, no matter who we are or how advanced or how long we've been on a spiritual path, right? So when the Native American proverb is talking about feeding, asking us which wolf are we going to feed, it's like a grandfather telling his grandson the story. So he was asking his son, you know, there are two wolves within us. Which one are you going to feed? The dark wolf, the black wolf, or the light, or the white wolf? And the child, of course, immediately said, the light wolf. I'm going to feed the light wolf. I want to feed the goodness, because again, the light is associated with the goodness, right? And so the grandfather was saying, okay, that's great, and that's wonderful that you want to always feed the good. However, what happens to the black wolf that's neglected and that's not fed? It's going to feel like it's tethered to a chain. And when an animal is feeling neglected, it's going to express itself more viciously. It's hungry, so it's like salivating at the mouth. It's baring its teeth. It wants food. It's got this massive craving, and it's been so neglected. So it's like building up within us like this well, right? And if we don't feed the black wolf within us, it's going to break off that tether and just go wild, right? And it'll express itself pretty much at inopportune times, right? It's like building within us until we put one more straw on the camel's back until it breaks. So we want to recognize these feelings within us and nurture our black wolf, right? So we want to give equal energy to the white wolf within us and the black wolf, because they're both amazing, beautiful creatures, right? If you've ever seen wolves, they are magnificent, really intelligent creatures that are pack animals. They're not meant to be left alone. So when we're dealing with emotions that we've been taught that are negative or unappealing, or if we express them in ways that are explosive, it's going to be very off-putting. So black pepper oil helps us, like if we were to meditate and really look within, how am I feeling right now, especially when we're in uncomfortable situations. So say you have a difficult time expressing yourself at work or in an intimate relationship with your partner, and you really want to express yourself, but you may feel afraid that your feelings or the way you're feeling about a certain situation may be hurtful or offensive to this other person that you're having issue with. However, when we're not expressing ourselves truly, it's not giving the other person almost like a full playing ground where everything is exposed, where that person can have the opportunity to react to whatever emotion that we're feeling or how we're feeling in a way that's going to really address the root of our feelings and our situation. You guys get that? You understand? And so I know for myself, being in an intimate relationship with someone on a very deep level, like with a sexual partner, for me can be really hard, which is one of the reasons why I'm like always single. So learning to utilize black pepper in a way where I can feel like, what is it that I'm afraid to really show my vulnerable side, you know? So I think that black pepper, when we use it for emotional therapy, is so profound because we can take the time to really see, okay, I'm feeling this way, and there's always a gentle way to express negative emotions, right? We don't have to be explosive about it. We don't have to do so in anger, or especially, you know, with women, when we express ourselves emotionally or tearfully, it's like we lose credibility at work with men, because it's such a masculine dominated society that oftentimes those emotions are seen as weak, right? Or you must be hormonal, or women are just more emotional than men. Well, if men were allowed to express their true emotions, and be able to cry, and you know, because how common is it that real men don't cry? What kind of BS is that? Of course they're feeling. They have feelings too. And I think that that's one of the barriers between, and the brunt of that opposition with the masculine and the feminine right now, and why there is such disharmony, and why that energy of the divine feminine is working so hard to come up and express itself fully, and with equality. You know, I mean, we're dealing with social justice issues right here in America, and in our own language. Again, what is it coming to? Black and white. And you know, a friend of mine wrote a post about it, and it's even in our language that the dark is seen as evil, or the enemy, or something to be suspicious of, and the light is the good one, the hero, the savior, the one that's always portrayed as the good doer, the do-gooder. But that is so, and that's so not real. And these are the stigmas that we need to extinguish and relinquish, and just show that within all of us there is the aspect of good and bad, no matter how it expresses. And so finding ways that we can express these our true feelings, I think, is really important, especially now, because everything is so heated, right? And people are being so judgmental, and people are afraid to say something because they don't want to say the wrong thing. And, you know, I've felt that way too. I don't want to say the wrong thing. And I feel like a lot of times we're being accused of things, or just being misunderstood. And so again, then we just be quiet. And so silence, again, is a way to repress, and it's not expressing our emotional honesty, our vulnerability, our our true integrity, right? So we want to really develop more self-awareness, and black pepper oil invites us to get real, right? It's like a super spicy oil, so it's not like it's a floral where it's like kind of relaxing and more sedate. It's like in your face. It's like spicy, spicy, spicy. Let's spice it up, and let's get things moving and see how we can heal. And it's a really great oil to pair with citrus oils like kumquat. Citrus oils are also very invigorating. You can also use it, since it's so spicy, sometimes it can overactivate, so you can ground that overactivity with vetiver, which is a root, and you can balance that energy out. It's also nice with pink pepper. black and pink pepper. You can kind of mix them together, or with frankincense or juniper berry, things like that. So let's get practical and see how we can use this in everyday life in our apothecary, in our herbal apothecary. So when we are experiencing a cold or a flu, we can reach for it and use a drop or two in a capsule, in one of those gel capsules, and take that internally, or we can apply it directly to the soles of our feet, okay? And that's going to boost our immune system and support our immune system. And I want to look up something really quick about sesquiterpenes. Who knows about sesquiterpenes? If you do, please chime in, because I love talking science. I meant to mark the page, and of course I didn't. Where is that? Sesquiterpenes. The therapeutic qualities of sesquiterpenes is that they include being anti-inflammatory, microbial, analgesic, digestive stimulant, a vasodilator, endocrine supporter, and a calmative. And sesquiterpene alcohols, their therapeutic qualities also include antispasmodic and sedative. So not only is it stimulating, but it's a sedative too. So when would that come in handy? I have a lot of friends coming to me to quit smoking. A lot of people are wanting to quit smoking, but how deep is that craving? How deep into the core does it run? How much emotional connection is ingrained with smoking? It's habitual, right, as well. So it's something that's done physically. So what do we do with that? It's a craving and it's an addiction. So we can put one drop, sometimes you can just put your finger right on the tip of the bottle, and that might be enough. Or, you can start small, right, just the tip, or you can tip over the bottle and get a little bit more. And you just want to put that right on the tip of the tongue. And it's super spicy, yes. Not as spicy and hot as oregano oil. You always want to dilute oregano oil or put it in the capsule when you're taking it internally, because it's like off the charts. But black pepper, it's spicy at first, but then it immediately, that dissipates. And so you can use this for cravings, because when we put it right on the tip of the tongue, there's 6 tastes on the tongue, according to Ayurveda. And what are those tastes? Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, astringent, and and pungent. I always forget that last one, pungent. So it kind of moves through your whole mouth. And I've had friends actually use this when they are trying to quit smoking, and it actually does alleviate their craving. Now, unless people are very committed to quitting, they're not going to quit. So I've tried to give it to friends who have talked about quitting, and then they say that, don't give me this essential oil yet. I'm not ready to quit smoking yet. So, we have to really be ready to make that commitment within ourselves. Just like when we're working on an emotional level, we have to be ready to express ourselves truthfully and from the heart, right? So that we can allow others to communicate back with us, and that way There's no misunderstanding, no misinterpretation like we were talking about with the emotional side aspect of it. So when we're talking about quitting smoking, you can also mix that with a drop of clove oil. And if you've ever put clove oil on the tip of your tongue, what does that do? Who knows? So if you want to type it in or speak up, I love to have interaction with people.
It numbs your tongue.
It does. It's very numbing to your tongue. So what that does is that also can, it's great for oral care, any kind of issue that you're having in your mouth, it can really help support that. But it also will kind of squash that craving. So if you could try, like I had a friend who wanted to quit smoking, and they also suggest clove oil by itself. So I had that, but I didn't have black pepper at the time, so I offered her that. And she was like, no, I don't want to use that, because she had smoked clove cigarettes, and that would make her want it more. So we also have to think, you know, really think about the context that we're using essential oils too, because what works for me may not work for you, and what works for one person may not work for the other. So that is super important. We want to really be mindful of that. Also, we can use it. Remember when I was talking about it being used as a vasodilator? And that, what does that mean? That improves circulation. So say I've been living here in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. I've been at altitude, and it's been you know, really cold at times. So you can put a couple drops of black pepper in your hand and massage the soles of your feet. Hi, Julie. And that will bring a warming effect to the soles of the feet, and it helps. And when we put essential oils on the soles of the feet, it moves into the entire bloodstream within just a few minutes. And then also think about all those reflexology points that we have on the soles of the feet. So because essential oils have cellular intelligence, it's moving into our body on all levels and working multidimensionally for things we may not even know that we need. It's also really good to support sprains for muscles and joints. And you want to use this with a carrier oil. So when we're using essential oils topically on our skin, we could put them on neat, which just means you're putting the oil on your skin undiluted. And that's okay occasionally. But when we do that, when we put the oil on neat, they dilute at a faster rate. And they evaporate at a faster rate, but when we dilute them, they absorb into our skin over a longer period of time. So it takes more time and they'll last longer. So when we're using it for sprains, that's going to be something that we want to use essential oils more repetitively for. So you can dilute that with a carrier oil, any kind of carrier oil. Fractionated coconut oil is going to be nice because it won't be as greasy. Some carrier oils are very greasy and heavy, so you also want to consider the viscosity of the oil that you're using and what you're doing. If you're just laying around, or if you're going to bed, or if you are putting clothes on, you want to use a less greasy oil. But then you're going to massage that gently into the affected area, and that will help to support the muscles in the joint. It's going to bring fresh blood and oxygen back into that sprained muscle or joint, and it will help to accelerate the healing. You can also use it for congestion. So you can dilute it as well, and you can massage it on your chest and also on the back and the lung area, you know. So if anyone's experiencing any kind of congestion, you can do that. Also, we talked earlier about diffusing it for any kind of airborne viruses or cooking. Now, there's also a nice recipe in here for a smoking stopper, and they're saying 1 drop of black pepper, 1 drop of clove with 5 drops of fractionated coconut oil, and you combine those ingredients, and you put that under your tongue. And also, when we put that under the tongue, it's another way that the body absorbs the essential oils into the bloodstream. And essential oils with the carrier oil are lipophilic. So that means that they are absorbed into the fats of the body, as well as permeating the cellular membrane, which has an oily coating around our cells. So when we use carrier oils for the oils, again, it's like a driver that moves the oil deeper into the body. So it makes good medicine. You can also use it as a massage. So if someone is feeling that they're having nervous tension, or any kind, if they're an athlete, any kind of muscle aches, things like that, you can make a blend. And you can use 12 drops of black pepper with 6 drops of marjoram, juniper berry, and ginger. So it would be 6 drops of each. And you can mix that in a 2-ounce bottle and fill the rest with fractionated coconut oil. And then you'll have like a really nice massage blend that's going to soothe your muscles, joints, and nerves. And you can use that as needed in small amounts, maybe just in affected areas, like maybe you're experiencing a lot of tension in your neck and shoulders, and maybe you take a little break. Maybe you're working at your computer so much, since everyone's on their computer so much, the computer tends to suck us into the computer, right? And then we have this terrible posture. And so what happens is the back rounds, the chin pulls forward, and it creates a rounded back, a very depressed posture that we like to call chicken neck, right? Because your head's forward and you've got like this chicken neck. So we want to find that sense of stability, and black pepper really wakes us up in that way. It like brings us to alert, so we're not like falling asleep into our computer. We can sit up nice and tall and have that nice posture. So does anyone have any questions or anything to add about this amazing oil, black pepper? Okay, if you're watching the replay, then feel free to comment in the post or contact the person who is sharing oil or sharing this video with you. So if it's not me, you can contact your friend, and if it's me, feel free to contact me directly. You can always get in touch with me through Facebook Messenger, through Instagram. You can on Instagram, I'm namastekaruna. Sometimes people have a hard time finding me because I don't use my full name. But I hope that this helps. You've discovered new and fun ways and exciting ways to use black pepper, because it's really an oil that is just so amazing. And energetically, I just want to remind you that it is the oil of unmasking, right? So let us find our true voice and really find a way to express ourselves fully so that we feel free, right? And when we feel free, there's more joy. And we're moving back to our natural state. And when we're able to express ourselves truly from that vulnerable state of, yes, this is how I really feel. And someone may not agree with it, but that's okay. We can talk about it. And it's like in Tantra. we set the boundary, you know, that's good for us, and then we invite people in, and then we set the boundary. We invite people in and we set the boundary. And sometimes, you know, we have to just keep resetting boundaries and feel what's good for us and what works for us, because sometimes maybe we feel like we need to just be so open, and then we're just so exposed. So it's like, okay, I'm going to back off a little bit. I'm going to move into what feels right for me. So black pepper can really support that in your meditation. So feel free to meditate with it and just take some time to just sit and, you know, really feel, how am I expressing myself, and how are people receiving that? Am I able to be heard, and are people understanding me, or am I not being heard? And if not, then maybe I need to learn how to express myself in ways that people can understand, because you know, we all have different love languages, we all hear things different, we all come from different experience. So the way, again, I learn is not the way everyone learns. You know, just like when we're using an oil may not resonate with me maybe at that time, but maybe later it will. So it's like a play, it's like a dance. And it's just different tools to help us to get back to our true self and find the true cause, so that we can use essential oils in these ways to support us naturally. All right, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. It's great to see friends from all over, and people that are so dedicated and come back week after week, class after class. Thank you so much. Sending you all much love and many blessings today. Happy Wednesday. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. It was
Yeah.
wonderful.
Oh, thanks, Gail. I'll see you soon.
Okie dokie. Bye bye.
Bye.